I have something to tell you all. What you are seeing on screen at this very moment, the thing we've been working on for the last 9 episodes, the thing that you all know as the A1. It's time to reveal something. This is not the A1. This was the A1. But sometimes you have to move on. And it's time to move on from our Mark 1 prototype A1 to another one. And that's for good reason. Why we are doing this and more will be discussed in this episode of A-Series Rockets. As always, the YouTube menu bar and description will feature timestamps so you know what to expect during this episode. In the first section, I will talk about what the A1 actually is and what the plans for it are. After that, we'll look at the changes we'll make going from Mark 1 to Mark 2. And for the last part, arguably the most exciting part of the last 10 episodes, we will look at a simulated launch. Yes, I ran calculations for each and every step of the flight, and we'll go over these numbers. But first, let's dial back and take a look at the physical A1 Mark 1 design. In essence, a model rocket consists of 3 parts, being the rocket itself, the flight computer, and its propulsion mechanism. The rocket itself is the most obvious. It consists of the body of the rocket and each and every physical part used. This excludes computers, however, but does include enclosures for propulsion. This means that the fuel tank is part of the rocket, but what's in the fuel tank is not. The nose cone itself is a part of the rocket, but the flight computer lying within is not. Still with me? Let's dive deeper and take a look at its propulsion. Propulsion on the A1 is as simple as it gets. Making use of the same principles you would make use of when you pump up a soda bottle and shoot it up in the air. It's plain old air propulsion. This form of propulsion is very weak and will not be able to bring us far. It is a logical first step though, because it provides a good learning curve and doesn't involve a lot of dangerous situations as long as you don't start doing anything stupid. The design of the propulsion system is also a lot easier because we have no combustion, no turbopumps, and no moving parts. It's just a pressurized tank hooked up to a nozzle. Open up the nozzle and the air will be able to escape the tank, generating thrust while doing so. The most complex part of the A1 will without a doubt be its flight computer. The flight computer is responsible for coordinating all parts of the rocket and control where it is going. For the A1, this is quite simple. It doesn't feature any form of thrust vector control or TVC and thus will not be able to steer. This is not a problem for us because our propulsion is very weak anyways. One part that will cause some issues and already has been causing issues is communication with the ground. The flight computer features a LoRa chip, enabling communication with other LoRa-enabled devices, which in our case is the ground. It will transmit flight data such as altitude and velocity, as well as the state of the other components, such as parachutes. More about that in a later episode. Now to compare Mark 1 to Mark 2. There isn't a lot to compare, but there are some subtle differences. Let's put them in a table, with Mark 1 on the left, Mark 2 on the right. For starters, the most obvious difference is the height of the Mark 2 prototype, which isn't even finished yet, and is already a lot longer than the entirety of Mark 1. When fully finished, Mark 1 was going to be 75 centimeters tall. Mark 2 will smash that number by approaching the 1 meter mark at 95 centimeters. This is 2 feet 5 inches and 3 feet 1 inch respectively for our American friends. There's also a difference in width, albeit smaller. The core of Mark 1, which is excluding its feet, has a diameter of 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches. Mark 2 will be a tiny bit wider at 10 centimeters or 4 inches. Another thing that's quite noticeable is the material it's made out of. The green plasticky looks gives it away pretty much instantly, but Mark II is made from PLA, a material commonly used for 3D printing. It's really lightweight and quite strong for what it weighs, and take the advantage of Mark I's PVC body, which is objectively stronger but also objectively heavier. The tank pressure we lose by going PLA will be paid for in weight loss when comparing to PVC. This brings us to the tank pressure. What is it actually? Well, Mark I had a planned pressure of 25 bars, or about 362 psi. Mark II will cut it in half, going with 12.5 bar, or 181 psi instead. Now for the part some of you are really excited about. I sure am. Let's take a look at the numbers and simulate a flight of the A1. Important side note. Not all numbers are 100% accurate. Some are known, others are just assumptions. The final flight configuration will only be known minutes in advance to flight. Everything begins even before A1 goes airborne. We first need to fuel it up. The vehicle itself is expected to weigh about 370 grams when finished, so we'll take that as our current estimate. We then start loading it up with air. When fully loaded, the pressure inside the tanks will be 12.5 bars. This causes the air to become more dense at about 14.5 kilograms per cubic meter. Combining these numbers will give us a fuel load of about 79 grams, but 20 grams of it is dead weight because not all air will exit the tanks due to ambient air pressure. This leaves us with 59 grams of air. This means that the total weight of the A1 at T-0 will be about 449 grams. Then we flip over to T+0 seconds and our rocket has been released. Air will slowly start to trickle out, exiting at a speed of 4.3 meters per second. This will generate a thrust of about 4.5 newtons, or just about enough to get us off the ground. We're officially airborne, and you, kind viewer, are officially amazing. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way. Thank you. I haven't been able to figure out speed just yet, but I can tell you that after about 0.9 seconds, the air pressure will have equalized, and the A1 will stop generating thrust. At this point, it will decelerate until it hits its apogee and then fall down again. Parachutes will deploy at this point and will soon hit the ground again, hopefully for a successful mission. To finish off, I want to thank everyone for tuning into this video. I know I don't upload often, but I try to make my episodes as interesting as possible for when I do upload. Want to see specific parts of the A1 in more detail or have a suggestion? Please leave it in the comments. Having said all that, enjoy the rest of your day and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.